Hello gamers. So I got the 6.7 special program pulled up here and I wanted to go over this new chronicled wish that they're adding. They're calling it Light Race Wish or Light Trace. A little while back I made a video covering all of the stellar conduct buffs to all of the applicable characters, and a lot has changed since then actually. Obviously we know a lot more information now about the reaction and how it interacts with all of these characters, and a lot of numbers shifted around and stuff like that. There was the Sino incident, and then we'll talk about some other stuff in this program that I thought was interesting too, but I'll leave that for the end. Let's talk about the banner first. So this is shared with the normal Chronicled Wish, so it will carry over from, I think, the previous Chronicled Wish and also any Chronicled Wish in the future. So this does function essentially as a Chronicled Wish banner, and we do not know the 4 stars yet, but if you want to know the 5 stars, we have Snezhnaya Sitlali on the first half with Raiden and Columbina on the second half. So if you originally missed Columbina in Nodcry and now you have Zabai, for example, or you picked up Nefer on her latest rerun and you want to add Columbina to the mix, she's coming back. But let's talk about these 5 characters here. Also, as usual, some of the stuff I'm going to say might not hold up, right? Because stuff will change in the future. Some of it is also subject to my own opinions and my own perspective, so keep that in mind. I still think out of the initial reaction that we had with when the buffs first got introduced, we all thought Yai was the biggest winner, and I still think coming out of all of this, I still think Yai is by far one of the biggest winners. Keep in mind that most calcs and stuff that you'll see and most teams that you'll see her in, they're all gonna assume C1 because Yai is a part of the, to temper thyself whatever event where you can get a free constellation for some of the select limited 5 stars, and Yai is one of them. So it is assumed that you will have Yai C1 if you have Yai Miko at all. But yes, Yai is very good, and she is looking so good that it's honestly a little bit concerning, because if they're planning to release an Electro limited 5 star, let's say, that functions very similarly to Yai, but it's going to be, a 2026, maybe 2027 version of the character instead with 2026 multipliers, that's going to be a little bit scary in terms of, how strong that character might end up being. But I think no matter what, Yai C1 is going to be a pretty solid sub DPS staple in basically any stellar conduct team going forward. She really is that strong in these stellar conduct teams, so could definitely be worth picking up. But I also don't doubt that in snezhnaya they're going to release some character along similar lines as her who kind of fills the same role, but we don't know yet. So now, despite the Sino beta incident where they completely crushed him, that has since been alleviated, and Sino is pretty solid. I wouldn't really go out of my way to get him, but if you're a Sino main, you are still going to be loving life when these stellar conduct buffs come around. And honestly, same goes for Wriothesley. Now, I do have to say for both of them that if you're gonna get them with Snezhnaya kind of ends up becoming a little bit of a dead slot in the team. If you're using Sino carry or Wriothesley carry as the main source of your damage, you could do a dual DPS sort of thing if you like that. Again, if you're a Sino or Wriothesley main and you want to be using them most of the time, you will need Snezhnaya to trigger the new buffs. But I would highly suggest to just wait. It is extremely likely, it is basically all but guaranteed that they're going to release in Snezhnaya someone else who can trigger stellar conduct that will be a lot more beneficial for Sino and Wriothesley than Snezhnaya is. Because Snezhnaya is a DPS herself who wants the field time. You can play her sort of quick swappy because she's very flexible in that fashion, but she doesn't inherently do anything for Sino and Wriothesley other than just enabling stellar conduct, right? And there is a possibility we do get a clip at the end of the special program where the Cryo Traveler is creating this Polestar field that triggers the stellar conduct buffs. Now, it still is an assumption to say that Cryo Traveler himself will be able to do this. We can't see the team. We don't know if there's a hidden Snezhnaya on the team or something. All we know is that this team had Beidou, I think. Yeah, it had Beidou and Cryo Traveler. So we don't really know. But I would say because they chose this clip in particular, it makes me think, just to avoid confusion, that Cryo Traveler himself probably creates these fields by himself. And if that is the case, that means once we have access to the Cryo Traveler, you can use him instead to enable your Wriothesley and your Cyno. Don't know what else he's gonna do. We don't know if he's gonna act a little bit more like the Chi-Chi buffs and like the Diona buffs, where it's a lot more supportive, or if they're gonna try and turn him into Stellar Conduct DPS. Either way, if we're assuming that he does create this Polestar field by himself, and all you care about, you don't really care that much about snezhnaya, and all you care about is accessing the new buffs, I would just wait until Snezhnaya drops and just use Cryo Traveler. Or again, what is almost certain, they're going to release some sort of dedicated 4-star, 5-star support that enables the reaction, which is going to be a lot more beneficial for your Cyno and your Wriothesley. But overall, if you're a new player, I wouldn't go out of my way to get Cyno and Wriothesley. I'd say the only one you should really consider here is Miko. Even then, if you just get Miko alone and you get her free C1, you still have to get Sandrone currently to access the buffs. But eventually, there will be other characters in snezhnaya that will help trigger that. Okay, let's talk about Chi-Chi. Again, I wouldn't go out of my way to get Chi-Chi. She's free. She's standard. You could get her from a 5-star selector. Same with Mizuki. However, Chi-Chi actually is pretty solid now and is an insane glow up from where she used to be. Her skill cooldown got cut in half. I'm pretty sure her skill generates particles now and gets even more energy on her C1. Her burst is kind of a nuke. It does pretty good damage now. It won't feel terrible to use, and of course, it heals you as well. So Chi-Chi is going to be a pretty solid support now for these Stellar Conduct teams, and definitely worth investing in if you already have her. I wouldn't go out of my way to get her though. And Mizuki is a weird one. I've heard some people, when I did my first buffs video, I had some Mizuki players comment saying that the buffs were really good, and that's great for Mizuki players, but in terms of how it affects Stellar Conduct teams, I'm not sure where her place is. I think what is more likely is there's going to be another reaction, which is going to be like Stellar Swirl or something, and that's when Mizuki is really going to shine, probably, where these buffs are really going to shine. I think as of right now, she's still a little bit of a question mark in terms of these buffs. I think they're overall good for her. I just don't know where it fits right now. Again, this is almost certain to change once future characters drop, and I think her place will be a lot more realized after that. We can also talk about these weapons. Now, Kagura's Verity, which is Yaya Sig, it's good. It's always been a decent stat stick, but on Yai herself, if you're looking for vertical investment, I think probably her cons are something a little bit more worth looking into than her Sig. Staff the Scarlet Sands, this is Cyno Sig. This is just a really good weapon in general. This is good on a ton of characters, and it's also going to be incredible on Cyno himself. So if you're a Cyno main and you don't have Staff of the Scarlet Sands, then I would definitely look into it. But Cyno's cons also are really good too. Wriothesley's weapon, kind of the same as Kagura's Verity. I would probably look into Wriothesley cons first if you're looking for vertical investment, and then maybe go for this after, or if you just really like Wriothesley. Skyward Blade, I don't know. Never go out of your way to get this weapon, but if you have it, that's cool. And kind of same for Mizuki. Just a EM stat stick, but I would not go out of my way to get it. Let me know what you guys think about this new Chronicled banner, and if anyone is piquing your interest, or if you're already like a main of one of these characters and you're looking to pick up cons, any of your future plans, let me know. Now, I'm going to talk about some other stuff I thought was interesting in the trailer. So obviously they showed like a bunch of the new areas and stuff, but I was low-key kind of, when I was watching it on live stream, I was kind of ignoring it a little bit. That's usually stuff I would like to just experience for myself, and I didn't really want to be spoiled. So I'm going to keep it that way. I'm not really going to go into the new areas and stuff because I just didn't really want to be spoiled. I thought the return of this like tycoon-esque style of game, if you guys remember the potion seller tycoon game that they had in Mondstadt, it was so addicting. For me at least, I loved playing that game. But basically it's very similar. You're collecting fish, you're creating like aquariums. People visit the aquariums. You sell like souvenirs and stuff, and you can probably use like trends or whatever to determine which is going to be, you know, the best addition to your aquariums and whatnot. Is that Catherine, by the way? Who is that? And then we gotta talk about this. The second snezhnaya teaser that they've done. Honestly, a beautiful train station here. Really like how it looks. And it's just massive in scale. Like if you look at the NPC's size relative to the whole place, it's huge. And same with here, this like main sort of courtyard area. The NPCs are so tiny. This place is absolutely massive, and it just looks like a crazy winter wonderland, Disneyland vibe. It's honestly, it's really cool. I like it. And of course, we're in the hometown of Child now. Dude, when are they buffing Child? Like, this guy is amongst the worst limited 5 stars in the entire game now. There are probably only, you know, a few 4 stars that are worse than him even. He is so just out of it these days. It's honestly really sad to see. I hope he gets some buffs now that we're in his hometown of Snezhnaya. So what exactly they do to him, I don't know. His cons are just completely terrible. They need to do something about it. Anyway, so we already talked about how Cryo Traveler possibly generates the Polestar field on his own. It's pretty likely that he does. I don't really know why they would show this clip otherwise. It would be kind of misleading if there was just like a hidden snezhnaya on the team and they just weren't showing it. So I'd say it's pretty likely. And this area seems very interesting. We got like tree enemies. Seems like in this team here they're using Mizuki or something. So here really highlights the difference in Sandrone's eyes from previous. Now she's got these like cogs in her eyes. Still a little bit of a shame that they couldn't just revamp her old design and they had to go with something that was basically completely new. But you know, there's nothing we can really do about it now, right? What's done is done. I think honestly the biggest tragedy is Polonia. It really sucks that, you know, just when I imagined Sandrone, I really thought Polonia was going to be there, and that was kind of a big selling point for me. Unfortunately, no longer the case, but let's just move on from that. We should just not linger on it anymore, you know? And this part is probably one of the craziest things I have ever seen. Just one of the biggest whiplash moments. And the music too in this section is so funny. It's just so funny to see something like this in Genshin just gone full on third-person shooter. I don't know how long you're gonna be playing like this because of this little heal thing I see here. This reminds me a lot of just the special domains that you visit during like story quests or Archon quests. If I had to guess, you probably can't access this gameplay like all the time. It's probably behind specific quests. But like, okay, I've played a lot of third-person shooter games in my time playing games in general. This actually looks pretty solid. Like, it does not look bad at all. You got the Traveler here. He's like hiding behind cover. He seemingly has multiple different weapons. Like here, or it looks like the same weapon here in these 2 clips. You can charge it from like automatic rifle and you can use whatever this is and you can do like a sniper shot. I'm not too sure if you can switch shoulders. It looks like it's all on the right side for now. Here in this clip, this is definitely a different weapon. He's shooting a grenade launcher at this enemy here. Yeah, it just reminds me a lot of these cover-to-cover third-person games. If you ever played like The Division or something like that, or Uncharted, you know, it honestly looks pretty fun as a shooter enjoyer myself. And of course we get to see Pulcinella model, in-game model. I saw a comparison on Twitter where they said they nerfed his nose length or something like that, which I think is kind of silly, but this is not really my place to talk about that. Are there any Pulcinella fans that were really looking forward to how long his nose was going to be, and are you disappointed now? Who knows? I don't know. And of course at the very end I think we get to hear the Tsaritsa's voice for the first time. I think that was all I really had to talk about. Again, I'm avoiding some of the content here because it's just, I don't really want to look too far into it just because I don't like being spoiled about that stuff. I'd rather just experience it in game. Was there anything else from the special program that was really interesting to you guys? Let me know in the comments. Also, if anyone is interested, I should be releasing a snezhnaya guide very soon. I'm just waiting on the 4 stars to drop, like the official banner to drop with the 4 stars. That way I can talk about the value of the 4 stars in the banner as well. So just waiting on that before I complete the video. So if you're interested in that, subscribe so you can see that. But yeah, I will see you guys around. Bye bye.